Work it out. Work it out. Work it out. Hey, this is our hustler's work is never through. We're making it 'cause we make it move. The only thing we know how to do. Says the only thing we know how to do. Work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard. We work hard, play hard, keep partying like it's your job. Work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard. We work hard, play hard. Keep partying like it's your job. Yeah. What's up? How y'all doing? It's your boy PAT coming at you. Hope you guys are doing good. It's hot. It's the middle of the day. Yes. And we're wearing sweaters, right? Crazy. Yes, my boy Gustavo. Shout out to Gusto. Gusto Entertainment.
Barrio.
Yeah. Representing Barrio. G1 was good. Dancing Lady J, what's happening? Winter fresh, right? I feel like it's kind of winter fresh right now, or winter cold. Evan! Woo! You ready? We're bringing you in.
You gotta dance.
You gotta dance. Work it out. Work it out.
Ho-ho!
Work it out.
What's up, guys?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. Today's a bonkers day, but I'm excited to be here. Let me just get some water. Next up in the spotlight, let's go.
Yes, we're about to get into it.
Oh my God, I haven't seen you in so long. How
Right?
are you?
It's a familiar face. I love it.
Yes.
Did I hear some bachata music when we started this?
No, it was some house.
Some house music.
Okay, all right,
Just to get
okay.
you revved up. But yeah, let's go, Evan. We appreciate you being here today. Next up in the spotlight is happy to have you. I want to give a quick intro to Next Up. You know, what we've been doing since the onset of COVID. You know, it was kind of weird, musky time. We said, you know what? Let's bring on influential people like yourself, artists, musicians, you know, whatever people are doing in their walk of life, and let's share their story, how they got there. Oftentimes we see people at the end of the road, but we don't see kind of what they did to get there. So we think it's fantastic to bring you along so you can share that and give like advice, nuggets, tips, life hacks, because everyone wants to be successful. I think everyone wants to be successful. But, you know, to hear that story is very inspirational. I know for me it is. So I want to share content. We want to share content that's important to us. So we appreciate you. Thank you for being here today. I'm going to pass it over to Carolina so she can give you that real, authentic introduction.
Yes.
All right. Okay. What's the shirt, Carolina? What are you wearing? What is that? I see a CN Tower on there.
Oh, Barrio.
Barrio.
Yes, so he's from Toronto. We wanted to support his brand. So he has it. He has sweaters, tees, hats, and he has Barrio across from it. So, and he's doing extremely well. So we wanted to put him on and support his business.
All right. I like it.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, guys. So I just wanted to thank everybody tuning in today. For those of you coming on, thank you. We are so excited. We want to give our guest an amazing introduction today. So our guest today is tremendously successful entrepreneur. At just 19, he had built and sold a biotech software company. At 22, he was a venture capitalist helping raise $500,000 to $15 million. He now runs the biggest YouTube channel for entrepreneurs with 20 million plus subscribers, wrote 4 books, and speaks globally. He wants to solve the world's biggest problem. He has set 2 world records, uses a trampoline and stand-up desk, owns Canada's largest salsa dance studio, and has a giant Doritos bag in front of him all day long to remind him that he is stronger than the Doritos. Toronto is his home. He is a husband, a father, TSM fan, and Timo main. So please help me welcome the man that believes everyone has Michael Jordan level talent, my old friend, Evan Carmichael.
Hey, what an intro. Welcome. Thank you for the love. Glad to be here. I wonder why this isn't going out to my audience. Normally when I join on lives, like it gets promoted to my audience
It's
too.
supposed to promote to your audience too.
Yeah,
Sure.
maybe it's going to take some time. Oh, there it is, getting up a little bit. Okay, we'll see what happens.
Do you see your people on there? let us know.
I don't know if you've never seen these two people above me for some reason, you're coming from my audience. Let me know. Pop it down in the chat.
Yes. It should promote to your audience too, because I'm seeing some names I don't recognize. Let us know. Okay, so we're gonna jump into it. I hope your audience is in there as well, and I'll let you start off. Kick it off, Carolina.
Yeah. So my first question to you, Evan, is oftentimes people have these burning desires to create something, build a business, become entrepreneurs, but oftentimes they lack the clarity, they lack the direction, they lack the know-how on what to do with their time. Sometimes they start doing one thing and then they move into another thing and they move into another thing and they seem so busy, but they're not actually moving the needle into their business. So my question is, for an artist, because that's our demographic, that's mainly our audience, or a thought leader like yourself, what are some of the systems, the processes, the procedures that go into a business like that will help support the idea that they have in order, so that they know what to do with their time and that they're being productive and effective?
So it's especially challenging for artists because art is messy.
It is.
And you can't just force art. It's like, go make me an amazing dance in the next 15 minutes, right? Well,
right.
You might be able to, or you might have to kind of sit with it. So I think of when I'm writing my books, for example, that's my art.
Right.
I need the whole day. I need big chunks of time. Like if you're in any kind of creative work, you need giant chunks of time to be able to make that happen. So I would first separate between the focus on the art. So I don't know, like what kind of artists are there's like visual artists or dancers or singers?
Let's do dance.
Great. So you need a chunk of time to focus on your dance and to come up with choreography or just however you're going to make money doing your dancing. You need to have a chunk of time regularly. If that's every day, like if you need to start your day with dance or you need to end your day with dance because that's how you calm down. You need chunks of time just to focus on the dancing and getting better. Then you need to have chunks of time where you focus on being an entrepreneur and being in charge of your brand and learning about business and marketing, right? And I think artists can be great at that, especially when you can take your creative brain and attach it to a marketing concept that you may have never done before. Okay. So whether it's morning and afternoons or whether it's different days of the week, like for me, I like having different days of the week. I do different things. So Thursday is what I call public facing day. So I'm doing interviews and hangouts and podcasts and IG lives like all day long. I put my extrovert hat on and that's what I'm doing all day long. And then Tuesday, I'll just make YouTube videos all day long. That works for me. So first off is not expecting everything to be smooth and productive because art is not productive. Like you can't, once you start making it productive, you turn it into a factory. It's like putting out the same car every day. You can do that at scale, but then you lose the artistry of making a unique custom piece of car. So don't overjudge yourself for not being productive. There's a lot of artists will judge themselves harshly. I'm not being productive. Yeah, but that's part of being an artist.
Okay.
So don't stress out about it. Just make sure you have time every week that you're focused on learning to be an entrepreneur and the business owner. Okay. And from there, I would look at how do I study success? How do I find people who've done what I want to do? Who do I admire in the business or marketing world? Even if it's not in art, like Steve Jobs, you can learn from. Mm-hmm. Kanye's in art, but other people, people sleep on Kanye's art. But people who you look up to and respect and trying to learn from them and apply it into your business. But you have to separate, now I'm going to put my business hat on and I'm going to try to go build my brand and be a marketer. And then I'm going to take it off and I'm going to go be a dancer or a singer or artist or whatever else.
Okay.
I love that. So it's like you have set days for set things. And I think that's a great concept because it's good for time management where there's that structure. So yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Awesome. So next question that I was wondering is, I was looking at your page, you talked about surrounding yourself with team, the importance of team, right? And making sure you have the right individuals around you is like a recent. I was looking at that from like a coaching, mentoring perspective, and the question is, when do you know when to engage a coach or a mentor? Is there a right time to engage a coach and mentor? And then to piggyback on that, kind of like you were talking about when you're looking for, when you're hiring people, how do you know what the right criteria is to look for a coach or a mentor? Like, what are the right questions to know that we can align well, because this is the right individual that's going to help me get to where I'm trying to achieve?
So for any coach or mentor, I hate the idea that you're just going to go and spend $10,000 on some coach and it doesn't work out, and then like that's the last 10K you had and it had to work, and now you're living with your mom again or bankrupt or whatever, right? So the process I like to go through is you start with their free stuff. So any of these coaches or mentors has free stuff. They have YouTube channels, they have Instagram channels, they've got free content that you can learn from and get value from, and make sure that you connect with them. Make sure that you've actually do the work to watch their video or watch their Instagram, and then do something in your own life to try to make it pay off. Like, you should be getting a return just from consuming their free stuff. If you like that and it's working, then take the next step, which is probably a book or some entry-level course, right? Like my next step is, where is it? Is there? That book that's kind of on my countertop there called Built to Serve, right? That book is 27 US bucks, right? 30 something Canadian. It's not a giant investment, right?
That's yeah.
So if you like their free stuff, you go buy their book or their entry level. Like, you spend 20 bucks on them and you see what happens. And again, you have to get, like, if you're not getting thousands of dollars worth of value from the book, go find somebody else. And then you work your way up. So, coaching program. Oh, now you're buffering a bit. Losing them a bit. Oh, maybe. Are you guys on? No? I can't hear you.
Yeah, right here.
The head moving
I can
a little
move
bit.
my head. Yeah, I can
Keep going.
Oh, okay. Keep talking to see if you can hear me here.
I can hear you. A circle. People watching, are you seeing me or are you seeing them? To figure out whose side this is on. I've been.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see you. You just adjusted in your.
Okay. So you just work your way up, right? So you go from their free content to their book to their whatever the next version is, the $100 product. And then if you're still getting value, like every separate, if you're spending $100 on something, you better have gotten $2,000 worth of value. And if you have, then you go and you can hire them as a coach, right? And if you haven't, if you don't like their stuff and it's not providing value, then go find somebody else, because there's tons of mentors out there.
I like that. Okay. I'm writing that down. Oh, and thank you. I'm writing that down. And a question for you too. That was great, because it allows you to filter, to really make sure you're getting that. And the other thing is, you talked about your book, Built to Serve. And I know in there you were mentioning on your page that, people oftentimes, you talk about, your process and your pain and what you've gone through, and it's a good thing to talk about it. So I guess my question is, as we get out there, we're trying to get a call to action from people. We're trying to get people fired up, trying to get people to, get going. What we do is we often talk about our struggle, our journey, our pain, and how, what we've learned from it. Sometimes there's engagement from it. Sometimes there's not, like trying to get people as excited as we are about, hey, we went through this and we're doing this now. And the question is, how do we get people fired up, excited, engaged, call to action? And they're like, yeah, like, how do we get that when we're trying to be as authentic as possible? Did you want to add on that?
So it's basically what he's saying. We believe in our product so much, and we want to be able to communicate and translate that belief so that whatever the call to action is, whether it is to buy our product or tap in or tune in, or engage with our posts, like how do we market that? How do we get people fired up so that they take action? The action we want them to.
like Instagram content? What are we focused on? What are we making?
Instagram content. So it's like one or two things. We'll usually talk about, you know, self-motivation, inspirational stuff. We interview guests like you. You guys will drop gems, and then we elaborate on it. We also talk about relationship challenges. You know, challenges I face, challenges she's faced, together and overcome.
You cut out, but I heard you relationship challenges, technology challenges sometimes too. But we're going, we got it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I was saying it's either, you know, self.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll roll with it a bit as we wait for the Wi-Fi to come back on. So, making content, you got to think about who you used to be. So who you used to be when you were first getting started as an artist, who you used to be in your troubled relationships, who you used to be when you felt like there was no hope. Like, go back to the worst of you. You've come through a journey. You've learned a lot. You're actually where you are right now is probably impossible. Like, what you've done, what you've accomplished, and everything you've done, the 5-year version of you, you know, from 2015, you looking at 2020, you thinks that's impossible. What that person's off doing. You're starting an interview show, talking to some of your heroes and bringing them on. Like, that's not possible. So you have to think back to, you have to touch the person that you used to be. When you're at your lowest low, when you feel like there's no hope, you don't want to just hear motivation, right? Like, think about when you were at your lowest low and somebody comes to you and is like, hey, everything's going to be great. You don't want to talk to that person, right? Like, what are you on? That's not possible. You're not living in the real world. So someone like me may not be able to touch that person, but you can, because you were that person. So how does 2020 you talk to 2015 you or 2013 you, or like whenever you're at the lowest of the low, you feel like there's no hope and there's no way out? That's what you have to get into. You have to start creating content that's written, videos, even in the dance. Like, dance tells a story. Dance makes people feel. It's not just about showing off some fancy move. I should have an emotional reaction to watching you dance because you're telling a life story through the dance, right? Like, that's the best choreography. Not just, I mean, I come from a salsa background, that's how I know Carolina, but it's not just about doing a right turn or a triple turn or something, right? Great dance tells a story. So what's the story? It's got to be a story that older you, like 2015 you, needs to hear. And when you write from that place, like, try to be that person again. Maybe if you now look at your, and I haven't gone through your content, but maybe now if you're looking at your content, you say, I don't think 2015 me would even listen to this stuff. They say that's just motivational BS. So that's that's the challenge. That's the challenge. Yeah. That's how you break through. Because there's lots of people right now who are 2015 you, and they don't know how to get out. They see no hope, and they don't want to listen to a guy like me, but they would listen to you because you've been through it.
I love that.
That was great.
Thank you.
That was great, because as you're saying it, I'm listening. I'm like, 2015 me would not even slow down to watch what's going on, let alone listen to it. So, you know, when you put it like that, that was really clear.
2015 me, I was at CS just starting my dance career.
but like, to your point, my man, like, what do you need to say in the first 2 seconds to make you maybe just watch a little bit longer? Like, how do you get there? How do you get your own attention? How do you say, stop, you have to hear this? Like, what would you have to do to you? Because you're going to see me as like, this guy doesn't know he's on something. Like, you don't want to watch my content. So what would you have to do in the first 5 seconds where 2015 you actually just pays attention? Like, hold up, maybe there's something, maybe there's something to this guy.
Okay, I like that.
I like that.
That was dope. That was great.
Got a lot of work to do.
Yeah. No, that was great. Thank you. And another question that we have a few more, we'll try with the time we have, is kind of like, how do you know, like, staying in your lane, staying focused? You know, like, you're doing something like maybe what we're doing, and you want to be motivational, or maybe you're a real estate agent, or you're an inspirational person, and you're pounding the pavement, and you know, someone's telling you it's not working, you're not getting the engagement. People are like, well, maybe you should go right, maybe you should try something different, and you're easily influenced because you want it to work. So you're like, okay, maybe I'll park and pivot and change lanes. How do you know when to continue down that path, even though it's slow, or to park and pivot and change lanes, like when you've exhausted your options?
When you don't love it anymore.
Okay.
It's like when you quit on somebody in a relationship, when you don't love them anymore. When you quit on your business, when you don't love it anymore. Like if you love it,
Yeah.
and you quit on it, you're going to regret that.
Right.
Mhm.
You're going to be 95 and look back and say, man, back in 2020, we had something, and I just quit on it too soon, and I went to do something else, and I lived a life that I hated. There's like decades of living a life that you hate because you pivoted away from the thing, because you just tried to chase an opportunity and do what you thought the market or your audience wanted, but you never actually loved that thing. Like
Right.
great art never comes just from trying to please the masses. It comes from a
Right.
real place.
Right.
Right.
So you quit when you don't love it anymore. Now, it's always going to be, to have commercial success, you've got to balance what you love with where there's an audience, but
Right.
don't just chase the audience. You still have to love the work.
Got it.
So I love every video that I put up. I love every post that I put up. They don't all work. So I don't make a round 2 or a sequel on a lot of the stuff. But I never post something that I disagree with, or never post something that's like, ooh, I think, like, I have, the first top 10 I did was on Kanye West.
Yeah.
Because I wanted people to see what you can learn from Kanye. Like, so many people throw so much shade at Kanye, but
They
you
do,
can learn
yeah.
from him. Like, if you're not willing to learn from him, you're limiting your own learning. It doesn't
Right.
mean you have to go interrupt somebody on stage or do some of the stupid things that he might do. But like, don't sleep on his talent and what you can learn from his creative process that can make you better. So that was the first top 10 rules for success video I ever made, because I wanted people to learn from Kanye. But if I made a top 10 stupidest things Kanye's ever done, that video would blow up.
Right.
If I did the top 10 stupidest things X person said or did, that video would blow up. I just don't
There's
want
a
to
lot
make
of content
that video.
there.
I don't want to make that video. It doesn't make me feel good. So I'll quit on that business because I'm just chasing opportunity, making something that I'm not proud of. It's not long-term sustainable. You have to feel like what you're making is valuable, is having an impact, is your soul is going into it. So as long as you still feel that, you can make these little micro pivots and testing. And that's part of being an artist, is you always got new ideas. You don't want to just do the same dance for the rest of your life, the same choreography. Like, you're gonna get bored of that. You have to pivot and change and tweak and try new things. It doesn't always work. Great, you pivot and keep trying, but don't quit on it if you still love it, because otherwise you're gonna regret it.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, he answered my question. We have some questions here. Let me just pull them up for the audience. We have Evan. What videos, projects are you looking forward to working on next?
This interview right now. Next up in the spotlight. That's what I'm excited for. I'm right here. We're doing it. We're living it.
Let's keep going. Let's keep going. So another question that Carolina and I had is, organic, you talk about growth a lot, and you talk about, different platforms, Facebook, IG, etc. And I know you're on several, YouTube. How do you, organic growth versus like deliberate growth, right? So like, we're, hacking an audience, we're working with you, you're telling your story, we're kind of collaborating now with someone who has maybe a different audience than we have, which is a way for growth. We're talking about things that are important to us. I feel like that's all very deliberate. How can we get that organic growth? Like, what type of things would we need to do? It's almost like that residual growth.
So I do a mix of Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah.
For what I would do is if you tap into your art. So if you can dance, then I'd be doing dances to all the popular songs, especially ones that aren't in your that don't make sense. Like if you did a bachata dance to an Eminem song or something.
Like a fusion.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like it doesn't make sense. Like, but it could kind of work. Like there's no bachata beat, but you know what? It could kind of work. Like there's some songs like that.
We do
It
a
could
lot
kinda
of that.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and I don't know what kind of dancing you guys do. I mean, obviously no Carolina, but there's other, you've probably expanded. But if you're doing salsa to a house song, it could be, it's different, it's wild,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I didn't,
Yeah.
and there's somehow songs that would fit, and some of the beats just way off and doesn't fit, but that's fine, especially if it's a poppin' song. You do your take, and people are like, wow, how do I, like, what is that? How do I learn that? Who are these guys, right?
Okay.
So I'll be doing that in micro format on Instagram and longer format, even freestyle, even just fun. Like if you can, most people don't know what they're looking at. Like in our level 1 salsa class at TDS, Toronto Dance Salsa, after somebody's graduated, they've only had 9 hours of class. They could go to a wedding and blow all their friends away and say, what did you just learn? That's crazy, right? It's like, it's just 9 hours of class, right? Like you've done so many years of work to get to where you're at, that even just freestyling, with having some elements, like don't put so much pressure on it being the perfect choreography. You can always make it better. You can always do the freestyle and then add some that you really want to make into good choreo and put that on as well. That plus the
Right, just
thought
kind of
leadership
stepping
slash
outside the box. You're talking about just kind of stepping out of that box a little.
Yeah, I think we had a little bit of a delay, but yeah, stepping outside the box of your normal style. If you do a hip hop dance to a hip hop song, that's fine. There's nothing wrong against it. It's just maybe not so special or different. But if you do a hip hop to opera or something like trending, hip hop to a country song or something, it's like, who are these guys? It's crazy. It gets people talking, right? And then if you're doing thought leadership stuff, I would bring on people that you care about, that the artist would care about, and ask them questions about building their career. Like, I think what you're doing is great. And hacking audiences. Like if people know me but don't know you, and you get to take some of my audience, like, oh, those guys ask good questions. I wonder what else they're doing. I'm a dancer. Evan knows a dance studio, doesn't talk about dancing enough. I want to be with people who are talking about helping dancers, right? And they find you. And so mixing those two types of content and being consistent, right? Like every day I'd be putting up a new video on Instagram and on YouTube.
Yes. And you know what, Evan, you talked about, content. I love how thought out that answer was. You talked about putting up content every day. You mentioned that a lot. And, I was always curious because I know you use the word content, you use different platforms. Is it any type of content? Is it video? Because I know you do video and image and like there's text. So you're hitting all bases. But is there one that you should try to engage more if you can't do all three? Or even if you're just doing one, is that sufficient? Like, can you break down what you mean by content every day?
Yeah. If you're a dancer, then video.
It's got to be video, right?
I want to see it. Yeah. I mean, the TikTok is great as well, especially for dancing. Like every dance trend that's popping, you can put it on TikTok. But then I would add a mix. Like if your goal is to inspire people and educate people, I do the funky dance trend and do all the moves and nail it and hit it hard, but then put like advice on top of the TikTok so people are learning. They get inspired, but they're also learning something. There's nothing wrong with pictures and quotes and stuff. It's just you're not leveraging your greatest skill set. Like it's such a visual. It's like you're a cook and you can make amazing food, but you're gonna just print off a recipe instead of showing me this amazing steak or spaghetti or whatever, right? Like it's such a visual medium. Show it. That's how you're gonna win. Is people seeing you do the dancing.
Got it.
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. And I think we're good for time. I still got the 2 questions. I'm gonna try to get them in there, right? Just trying to get all the juices. Thank you.
I got like 1 minute, so let's get the most important one.
1 minute.
For everyone, like, how do you then? When is it a good time to try to monetize whatever you're doing? Just say it's thought leadership stuff. When does it make sense to at least venture and look at that area, right? You're doing everything from a passion and heartfelt, but now when do you say, okay, I want to take my hobby.
When people are asking. So if you're making dance videos, people should ask you about, can you do private lessons? Can you coach me? Can you do a choreography for me? I love your style. If you're doing expert advice, somebody should be saying, hey, I'm an artist. I'm trying to become an entrepreneur myself. Can I hire you? Right? Most people launch product too soon, mostly before they have an audience that's willing to pay for them. So you're creating and you're waiting for people to come to you. Like in the salsa world, people get private lesson opportunities from just going dancing at clubs. You go to a club, you dance, you look great. People say, hey, I want to dance with you. I want to dance like how you moved your hips and how you did all that. I want to learn how to do that too. Do you do private lessons? Do you teach somewhere? Right? As a matter of fact, they do. Right? Like that's when you, and if you want to be a teacher, if you want to be helping people make a brand, or if you want to help do choreography or whatever paths that you actually, maybe you hate choreography and never want to do it for other people. Great. That's not your model. If you love it, great. You can start selling that. Right? In the salsa world, that's super common. You can buy somebody's choreo, and then different schools in different cities get that choreo, right? But are people asking you for it yet? So you're creating your even like that sweatshirt. The first thing was, hey, what's that sweatshirt, Caroline? I can't, right? So like, are people asking about the stuff? Are they asking you? And then you decide, do I want to be in that business or not? Do I want to drive? Do I want to be in the sweatshirt business? Do I want to be in the advice business? Do I want to be in the choreography business or not, right? But keep creating until you get people asking. I gotta go. I'm late for another call. This is awesome. Thank you guys for the love. I appreciate you, and we'll connect again soon.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you guys.
Bye.